Welcome, lovely soul friend. Today's message from the Spirit is about, well, today is the last day of Mercury retrograde, I guess, and I feel like astrally there are still effects feeling, like you could still feel the effects of that revision of the old. And as we're kind of stepping slowly into the what's going to come after this period, there was I think channeling I did on the beach, a video here on this channel, in which I said that after, I think I said, like in general talking about future, but after this period that there would be more, that things would be more natural, things would feel more, I don't know, in alignment, in effortless and authentic. And I guess I didn't know, when I was of course channeling that message, I wasn't fully sure how would that play out. And I see that during like all of these days and these weeks that it played out in a way where I mean, as it always does, the Mercury retrograde kind of brings out a lot of the old things. But in this case the message was more about the inauthentic, well, I mean, most obviously is about things that are inauthentic in ourselves. But how, like now in the last days, and now that we're going to step next week into the kind of more fresher energies, more inspiring energies, what we get to carry into those into that next cycle is a more, it's just more authentic version, which could be more fruitful. And therefore I have felt the last days that throughout revision is necessary in terms of like everything. And there have been, like in myself, I have felt a lot of judgment for what it is, for not being maybe the best authentic version for myself, and for maybe struggling to wrestle with those things in myself, which are the kind of the old programs, the foreign spirits and the foreign, well, things where you know you've kind of assumed in your life to follow a certain thing, and then it kind of lingers in your shadow, and it's still, and maybe you don't fully see it, and maybe you don't give it like a full acknowledgement that it is a problem. You're kind of like, it's there, maybe it's a suggestion, you know, it's like doing things a certain way. But if it's still there, and if even sometimes you do those things in following that belief, it's still not authentic, right? It's still it's still cheating yourself. But again, to even kind of get to that revision, I think most people find it very difficult to have these retrograde revisions, kind of, which don't have to be hard, but they are hard in the sense that when you do revision asks you to kind of clean your room, clean your house, clean your spiritual self, clean your desire self, clean the way you do things, like right? And when people have like all of those attachments, and there's also a lot of judgment involved in cleaning your room, because it's like, if there is a mess, inauthentic mess in my spiritual self, then, well, in myself I found that there's it's like you are trying to get from point A to point B by maybe being more authentic, by maybe having more inspiring ideas, more original ideas, coming closer to yourself. And that's the same thing that I said in that message, that it was going to happen. But the way it's going to happen is kind of looking back at things and seeing what you need to release, right? So the revisioning, the releasing, which is kind of has happened in this period. And I don't know if I can say that I have used this period in the most successful way. I feel like I have struggled a lot with it, and and I have done many things still, like from the old perspective. But I have throughout this period and throughout these days, I have still kind of reminded me and reminded myself that I should not follow the others in the ways of being. I should trust the unknown of myself and just feel like what is closer to myself, what is coming closer, stepping closer to my own core. And these periods is like strange, because in that way, if you disregard the revisioning process, kind of, cleaning up process, it may feel like everything is being taken away from you. So if you don't catch up with what is going on, it's like you're being left behind, or you're maybe like, you maybe feel like everything is failing, everything is crumbling. In a way, it's a death, of course. It is a death, because the inauthentic things must die. However, also it teaches more of feminine space rather than action-based progress, feminine-based progress, existence, which happens in silence, contemplation, sitting meditation, right? The subtle actions, which are almost decisions, basically. And if this message can allow you to make a decision now to just not follow older ways in yourself, in the way you do things, in the way you appear to things, in the way you... What do I mean by appearing? Not like, I'm gonna wear this outfit, appear, not pretending, right? No, it could be like a new type of way of dressing yourself, right? If that's authentic, not in a fake way, not in an authentic way, but appearing in a more general way. Like, that's not in a more honorable way towards yourself. And well, that just brings up the question, what needs to be sacrificed? And I feel like what needs to be sacrificed is the benefit that you thought you were getting out from a previous system, from a previous idea. And of course, it's like this message, this thing, this like message to be more authentic. It is 100 times relevant in our lives, right? Because our authenticity is it's like a repeated process. It's a cycle. So we had the retrograde period. Now we're gonna have another I think in the end of October. So we're going to have to revise again and again and again, and throughout the periods, to become more to just gradually become more authentic throughout those cycles, throughout those periods. So it's not like that it's just relevant right now. This message could be relevant after every single cycle, revisioning, whether you have stepped, like you could ask like just one single question: have you stepped closer to yourself or no? Or do you kind of go back into some of those older systems which you believe? And even in that case, if you do stay true to some of those older systems, there should not be any judgment about choosing what is safe, because people choose, like, I guess the reason why people choose the old stuff, because they are not ready to release it, really. And that's fine, get them on the next lap. But yeah, I hope that this message kind of gives you space and guidance in this moment, because I feel like it does to me. It does to me a lot. And definitely when it comes to the choices that are going to follow in my own path, and also how I am going to show up here, and yeah, with new frequency comes new kind of reality, and it's definitely something that I would want to, from my side. I think at least that I have been vulnerable, but I think I'd be more like vulnerable and expressive with my own inner depths than I used to be before, because that is the core essence of our truth and of us, really, right? And if I did things from inauthentic perspective before, to somewhere subconsciously believe that there's a benefit in that, then I would no longer want to follow that. And I would much rather explore things that kind of are not dangerous necessarily, but like risk, that have risk in them, in terms of not knowing if that's like, if what I share, if what I create, if what I do in the way that I appear in the world, that it is digestible for people, or that people may like that, or that that it gives you any kind of promised reward for anything, really. Even even if that reward is kind of a sense of helping others, assisting others, and helping them, like, I'm doing this to help other people. Like, well, that's still a reward. You may want to risk that as well. So risking that reward means, yeah, you just don't know what's the outcome gonna be. But you will know one thing for sure, that you, like, even if nobody sees you, you are being of service to the most highest of things by following a path which hasn't been maybe discovered, actions that haven't been taken, risks that are somewhere out there. Because those are the things that, not only once you kind of chop away that unmarked trail, that trail appears for others. And you see how you going into the unknown actually is assisting others, because it's now really revealing a new path, instead of going instead of just kind of giving people always what they want, always what they like, and giving them messages which stroke old itches and old ideas and old needs. So yeah, this is my message for a new cycle, for a new awakening, for a new insight perspective journey, whatever it is, whatever is kind of shifting right now. after this. And yeah, I hope, my dear lovely soul friends, those watching now, those watching in the past, those watching in the future, that you can, I don't know, just do what you want, really. Do what you actually want, do what you really want, you know. Especially like giving away all promises of achievement, you know, like false promise of achievement. There's only one achievement right now, and that is following your authentic voice. That is following what you believe in. That is your achievement right now, the only achievement that there is always. Everything outside is just a fruit. It's just a hanging illusion, just something, just a product of what you believe in. All right. Love you very much, my dear soul friends. See you all in the upcoming videos, which let's hope I inject more authentic energy. Okay.